Paris Olympics opening ceremony, a night filled with spectacular moments, from the lighting of the cauldron to Celine Dion's breathtaking performance. But amidst the grandeur, one act has ignited a global firestorm. A tableau so controversial it has the world asking, what were they thinking? Picture this: drag queens and dancers sprawled across a long table in a scene eerily reminiscent of Leonardo da Vinci's The Last Supper. Jesus Christ and his 12 apostles, replaced by a flamboyant display that left many viewers outraged. The backlash was swift. The official Olympics account, faced with widespread criticism, yanked the footage from YouTube. A stark message greeted viewers: this video is not available. But the damage was done. The opening ceremony, celebrated for its bold, unconventional approach, included a diverse mix of performers, models, dancers, fashion icons, and drag queens. But the segment that parodied Da Vinci's masterpiece crossed a line for many. In response to the uproar, the Paris Olympics organizers issued an apology to Catholics and Christian groups, expressing regret over the contentious tableau.
To show disrespect to any religious group. On the contrary, I think that Thomas Joly really tried to really intend to celebrate community tolerance. That was his word yesterday. And looking at the result of the polls that we shared, we believe that this ambition was achieved. If people have taken any offense, we are, of course, really, really sorry.
Thomas Joly, the creative director, also defended his vision.
Ma volonté est simplement de dire que nous sommes ce grand nous et que hier soir, c'était des idées républicaines, c'était des idées d'inclusion, c'était des idées de bienveillance, de générosité, des idées de solidarité, bref, de ce que je crois nous avons follement besoin. En France, on a le droit de s'aimer comme on veut, avec qui on veut. En France, on a le droit de croire ou de ne pas croire. En France, on a le droit, on a beaucoup de droits, voilà. Et c'était l'idée de faire transparaître ces valeurs-là à travers.
Even high-profile figures weighed in. Elon Musk, CEO of Tesla and X, lambasted the ceremony, stating, "Christianity has become toothless." French politician Marion Maréchal added fuel to the fire, condemning the act and insisting it was the voice of a provocative minority, not France. The fallout extended beyond social media. A major U.S. tech company, C-Spire, withdrew its advertising sponsorship, citing the offensive nature of the performance. Yet not everyone was offended. Some praised the artistic vision, seeing it as a bold statement on inclusivity. James Leperlier, president of France's Inter LGBT, highlighted the ongoing struggles for LGBTQ rights in France, viewing the tableau as a call for progress. So here we are. The Paris Olympics 2024 opening ceremony has sparked a vital conversation. When does artistic liberty cross the line into mockery? Today, it's the Christian community under fire. Tomorrow, it could be any other group. So ask yourself, are we okay with this?
आए आजादी के इरादे को रोज घरों.
Hello and welcome back to another session by Grey Beyond Narrative. Today's session is about the controversies in Paris Olympics. It finished a few days back, and it has been embroiled in controversies. It's not just this Last Supper one, even though there are just multiple, too many. So we're going to start with the Last Supper one, though. Drag queens in the main event. Drag queens celebrated their French culture by what most of the Christians are saying, that it's kind of a mockery of the painting of Leonardo da Vinci, The Last Supper. But I mean, honestly, if you look at it, first of all, the Last Supper was it's enacted everywhere. Like, people do it in weddings and everything. But I do believe that doing it with drag queens is, yes, a little problematic, especially when we clearly know what is Christian standpoint is on that topic. But then there is this another thing. Initially, French government accepted that, they accepted the Last Supper thing, but later on they started coming up with this concept that it was not the Last Supper, it was a feast of Dionysus, which was also portrayed as a blue, almost naked guy who was brought on the table. He's actually Dionysus. He's the god of Olympics. So they say that it was actually, we were actually portraying the feast of Dionysus, and we were actually portraying the feast of Dionysus. And this is the picture, which they say they have a lot of resemblance with the Last Supper. But then again, there is a lot of resemblance with the Feast of Dionysus as well. So a lot of people, especially liberals, are contesting this claim that it's actually a copy of the Last Supper. They're all saying that it's just a copy of Feast of Dionysus. I also want to let you know that the Last Supper was Leonardo da Vinci was inspired by the Feast of Dionysus. Wedding of Dionysus, Feast of Dionysus. I'm kind of confused in that, but yes, one of those. And they say that he was inspired by that painting to make this painting. The main girl who, like in the blue dress with white hat, Barbara Butch. She's called Barbara Butch. She's a DJ. She also received death threats over this portrayal of the Last Supper. So, and French police was looking into it. I haven't updated myself with what happened later on. But yes, that's the story of Last Supper. What do you think, Shaji?
Yeah, I think that they could have done it. Overall, the ceremony was really good, but the way they basically circulated this entire episode, it was like French being French, taking a shot at people. Obviously, there would have been, if there was no connection to the Last Supper, and they would have not apologized for even a second. But the authorities apologized, others apologized. And so when those apologies come into the entire situation, obviously, you only apologize if you've done something incorrect. And you can see it's reminiscent of both, and absolutely both of the pictures, dialysis as well as the portrait of the Last Supper.
The painting of the painting Feast of Dionysus, it's on the screen right now. This is the Dionysus feast. Yes, continue.
So as you can see, they're both inspired by one another, but obviously this was a direct shot at Christians, and that's why the apologies were there, as you saw in the beginning, in the introduction as well. That what Elon Musk said, what various other celebrities around the globe said, how various people basically said that Christians are okay getting insulted, and it's like all there. None of the French authorities outright came out outright and basically denied that this was all about the Last Supper. So this wasn't anything to do with the Last Supper. So that's my take on that. So it's actually there to be seen.
Actually, according to the authorities, they haven't exactly accepted it, that it was a Last Supper. But I mean, they were sorry. Like they were sorry for trying to hurt somebody's sentiment. That doesn't mean that they were accepting the apology. They just said that they So this is the threats she received. As you can see, these are the threats. Statement from Barbara Bush attorney. So she's been receiving death threats on her. And they're looking into it. So I think for all those people who always said that, oh, Muslims, I saw a lot of people say that, in fact, that, you know what, if it was something Islamic, she would have received death threats and stuff like that. So here it is, the death threats everywhere. Stupid people are everywhere. It should not be condoned, and not one community should be targeted for that. I mean, you just saw this. So I guess this is it about that topic specifically.
Yeah. So what we
There was also
conclude-
controversy over Israel and Russia's participation.
Yeah, of course. So we can begin and kind of conclude from the beginning that this actual Olympics began with controversies, and controversies kept sweeping through. The next one which comes to mind is, like you've mentioned, Russia and Israel. Again, I think not having Russia one of the main contenders within Olympics in itself is a huge letdown, even though there is disagreement and whatnot. But at the end of the day, to remove one of the most happening nations, one of the biggest participant over the years since Olympics began, not to be part of Olympics, kind of took the shine away from the entire event, as for a lot of people. What do you think?
It actually spoke a lot for the hypocrisy of the West, honestly. I mean, you invite Israel, even though it's actively bombing Gaza, but you do not invite Russia because, according to the European journalists, like they say that this is not Afghanistan, and this is white people with blue eyes being bombed. Like, you know, in Afghanistan, it's all fun and games. We just love being bombed. But it's happening in Europe, so it's a big deal. So that actually speaks a lot for their hypocrisy. I mean, that means that the French claim that they support liberalism and they're all for human rights. That's actually all just a sham.
Well, the French had some part to play in it, but it was the Olympic body which decided that Russia is not going to be part of it, which basically means that majority of these countries basically decided upon that, which is sad, really, because that took away from the competition, in my opinion. Moving away from that aspect, I did come across some videos and some stories in regards to the Palestinian flag not being allowed at certain events. That was another interesting situation, that on one side they're basically making that statement that Olympics is beyond politics, but then on the other hand, they're allowing Israel, they're removing Russia, but the Palestinian flag's not allowed. So that's something to be taken a note of.
Hijab was also not allowed in French team, even though it was allowed for other teams, but it was not allowed for French teams to have any hijabi on the team. So that was
That's
also
because of the French law, and I think they banned that a few years back. I think 4 or 5 years back.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, that is also messed up. Like, how are you threatened by somebody's headgear that is made literally of cloth? But anyway, so the next controversy, no, it's not exactly a controversy, to be honest, but it's like something really interesting that happened. It is that 51-year-old Turkish Yusuf, I'm really bad at this, Dikis or Dikas, something, yeah, Yusuf Dikas, made history by he competed in 10-meter air pistol mixed team event at the Paris Olympic, and he won a silver medal. It was a team effort. But the thing about this man is that he was not wearing any safety goggles. He was not wearing any special tools like the other teams. He was like, a lot of people said that it was like a side job for him. He was going out to get some groceries, and on the way he was like, you know what, I'm going to go to the Olympics and participate in it. So everybody was like, and then people were coming up with stories about how his ex-wife left him, but all of that was fake. Those were not real, those were fake. Yeah.
I found that particular gentleman to be very interesting, very candid. That's how sports are supposed to be, very confident, and he looked like an assassin to me. But that's a whole new thing. Some interesting stories.
Yeah, a lot of people also mentioned that the only the only reason he did not come first is because he was scared somebody's going to blow his cover that he's an assassin. And everybody's saying like Turkey literally sent their assassin. So, but it was interesting, right? Elon Musk, I think, offered the guy. Elon Musk offered something the guy, and they spoke on X, which used to be Twitter. They spoke on X, and I think Elon Musk might be visiting Turkey soon because of this guy. This is a guy, and I believe everybody's seen him by now because it's all over social media. Even if you're not watching Olympics, everybody know the guy. Apparently, he's an ex-military man, and he's been in these shooting stuff. But some people are actually angry because he had a teammate and she was a woman, and they say that she was not given the same focus as this guy. But the thing is that she was wearing headgears, even though she was standing like him, but she was wearing headgears. That was not important. It was actually the age thing and how the guy was just doing it. And they also said that right after this competition, like when he went in, he was like, where's the smoking area? And everybody was like, typical Turkish attitude. So there is that as well. But I think, yeah, he was really good, to be honest. Okay. The Iman Khalif gender issue. So boxer Iman Khalif was at the center of controversy after Italian opponent Angela Caridi withdrew from their scheduled bout at the Paris Olympic. This has been drawn in 45 minutes. This has drawn criticism from figures like Donald Trump and Italian Premier Giorgia Meloni, who raised concern about gender issues in sports. Now, I have to read the whole thing because it has some important details. Iman Khalif's career has faced challenges, including her disqualification from the 2023 World Championship for elevated testosterone level, which the IOC criticized as arbitrary. Her recent victory over Caridi is just 46 seconds, has intensified debate about her eligibility about gender equity in athletics. Critics have noted the lack of transparency in the IBA disqualification process, while the IOC stated that there is no consensus on the issue. So later on, what happened was that because, to get some attention, the next Hungarian contestant, Anna Luka, she used this controversy against her, and even though she is pretty tall, Anna Luka, she tried to she put up a photo. Wait a second, let me find that picture. She tried to make it look like she put up a photo where Iman was this big monster, while she was this really skinny girl, and they were facing each other. And when it came in reality, it turns out that Anna was actually bigger and taller than Iman. Even then, Iman won, and she actually got the gold medal in Olympics.
What I
That's all that happened. And
what I find very interesting in this entire situation is for years and years, different sporting bodies have basically carried out these tests where chromosomes are checked and certain athletes are stopped from participating. But on the other hand, they're not fine with people who might have a XY chromosome and who might be women to begin with. But they're okay with people who identify as a different gender to be competing in women's sport. Uh, I really don't understand why there was a controversy for Iman when she was biologically born as a woman, but it's very strange. On the other hand, tomorrow some man who identifies as a woman is going to be spoken about as if he's allowed to participate. So it's very ironic in that way, and I think it's extremely controversial.
so this is a
Yeah.
picture that Anna Luca shared, in which Mane is this big monster, and she's a skinny girl fighting her, and she had all these conservative right winger Donald Trump and Elon Musk, and even J.K. Rowling. J.K. Rowling actually tweeted about it, how men are allowed to compete in such contests. This is a woman stuff, but there is no proof that she have, even though. IBA chairman, who was a Russian, he claimed that they have an XY chromosome, but when they didn't give any proof, even in their press conference that they did to talk about these things, they did not give a single proof of this other Taiwanese boxer, Lin and Khalifi. That if they have a XY chromosome, just give us the results. They didn't do that. And they were just talking and talking and talking. At the end, everybody was like, they're just talking. So, yeah. And so one more thing, it has a little bit of a racist thing going on. So, Iman, being an Algerian, they claimed such a thing about her. There is this Lane girl, Taiwanese, that there was also this controversy about it. You know Serena Williams, right?
The tennis player.
Yeah, she also had this controversy about her. You know that her testosterone level is high, but that is also I think Michael Phelps also have such kind of situation going on. So nobody complains about him, but somehow Iman and Serena, and there was also this other non-white girl. Who was also getting cancer because of that, and some other time. I don't exactly remember her name. But the pattern that I see here is how women of color are being targeted in this. Like you don't see someone claiming that Anna Luca have XY chromosome or high testosterone, even though she was just as big as, in fact, an inch or a few taller than Iman. And bigger, and if you see their pictures side by side, they look the same. But as far as I know, she is of a bigger size.
Yeah,
but nobody batted an eye on that. Everybody was just.
Yeah, in the recent events, you can say it's been a colored thing, but I remember there have been various kind of situations. I remember there were British females who were banned from competing in athletics in the late 90s and then early 2000s as well. So there have been cases there. And the sad aspect of this entire situation is that having high testosterone through a test does not render them to be any less females. That's just a natural phenomenon. But on the other hand, we're living in a world where people who were born as men are identifying as females, and they're participating in all kinds of events, and it's rendered legal to do so. It's crazy, if you ask me.
Actually, I think not anymore. There was this person, trans person, who's competing in swimming contest, but then he was removed. I mean, she was removed. Sorry, she, don't misgender
He was,
anyone.
as
She
far
was
as
removed. Yeah,
he was.
yeah, she was removed from that. Yeah, no, Shaji, she had a gender
It's
change surgery, so yeah, you can't really say that. Anyway, then she started.
Someone was
People started.
just like,
People started protesting for her, and everybody's like, "Oh, some people are like, oh, it's unfair," and some people are like, "It's unfair to her that she was being removed." But it's a really, I mean, if the point is that. The thing about Iman is that a lot of these conservative right wingers were claiming that she have an XY chromosome. That's what the IBA Kremlov, chief Kremlov. He also claimed that she has XY chromosomes, and that is not true. A lot of people started saying it's a man who had this surgery last year, and he changed his gender, and then his father had to come out. It was really sad. His father had to come out with her childhood photos to prove that she was born a girl. And at the end of the day, she won the gold medal. And it's not like she's completely unbeatable. She's lost a lot of matches as well. Then what those other player men. So this is what has happened. This also happened, and then there is so when they were putting up the flag, of Olympics, they put it upside down. Yeah, that's one thing that they did. Yeah, everybody was making fun of that, and there was this poop protest as well. So when the Seine River, the 1.4, they spent like 1.4 billion dollars or pounds on cleaning River Seine. But it was not properly cleaned, honestly, because it still had high E. coli. So a lot of people from Paris, French lot, they were having an issue with that, and they were like, you know what, we're going to protest by pooping in the river. That was some kind of a poop protest, and on 23rd July, but that didn't happen. But like, it would have been really unfair. Honestly speaking, it would have been really unfair to the French government. They were trying their best to give them a clean river. But then again, that did not really end well, because training sessions were still cancelled, and a lot of players, I'm going to point them out. A lot of players were having stomach issues, some were having E. coli issues, some were unfortunately ill. Like this girl from Belgium, Claire Michel, Adrian Briford, Tilda Manson, Vasco Villaka of Portuguese, and Henry Christensen, Norwegian. A lot of people, all of these people were sick after diving in the River Seine. And also because a lot of these players were, what they did was that some of them were on antibiotics since before it started, the Olympics started. And some of them were training themselves by trying to become immune to E. coli. A lot of them vomited after the contest, but well, I've read this, that a lot of the times when swimmers are contesting in such competitions, they vomit because it's a 200-meter lap, and it's really tiring, so they vomit because of that. But then a lot of people are saying that fine, but there's this problem as well. There's a lot of one swimmer said that they saw something brown floating in the river.
I think there was also a huge amount of Parisians, local residents of Paris, who basically decided to stay away from Olympics. But I think one thing, even though the French have been criticized a lot in this entire situation, in during the event, you have to give it to them in one aspect, that they really use their monuments well, both in the opening and closing ceremonies. On top of that, the way these stadiums and these places were converted from one event to another, that in itself was another huge thing. Some of the live performances were really well choreographed, and so I think we should highlight that as well. That it was not all bad in that way.
I understand, but I think Shajir's session is literally about controversies and complaints.
No, I know, but I couldn't help but appreciate those aspects of the entire thing, where if you look at how much they've spent and how much they've revived and refurbished in their entire city, that's going to have a long-lasting effect.
Yeah, well, their city had a power outage. A lot of people are saying because it's an old city, uh, it cannot, take that much of a load. So that's why there was a power outage. But then there's some people were saying it's a rumor, there was no power outage. But then some people are saying that there was a power outage, but it was for a little while. There's some situation about this power outage thing, which actually would make sense because Paris is an old city and the system might not be able to take that much of a load. But then there's also this someone, the identity hasn't been revealed. Someone tried to do arson on the railway stations, and someone with really good knowledge of the whole system. They tried to do some railway arson on railway, which did not exactly hurt anyone, but it damaged pipes that house essential signaling cable for the TGV system, and that's it. But a lot of people the claim is that it was done by the local people as a protest against the Olympics because they think that it's unfair to them that the government won't spend enough money on them as much as they're spending on Olympics.
Interesting. So
There was also very heavy rainfall. Which was also
I couldn't hear you. Can you repeat yourself?
There was also this heavy rainfall, which also disrupted a few games.
That always
Even
happens.
nature was having its fun. Yeah. So another big controversies in this session. Okay, go on, Shah. You want to say something about that?
Yeah, I was going to basically add. I think the biggest controversy, which should be how many viewers actually tuned into Watch Olympics. Because I think, in my opinion, and if you look at the figures as well, compared to the Football World Cup, Americans would like to refer to it as soccer, or tennis, or even Cricket World Cup, or for example, Wimbledon, or any other major sport. I don't really think many people are too bothered about the Olympics. I don't know if that there needs to be a huge amount of revamp in the entire event. It needs to be what's the purpose of it? If there's no excitement like there is for other tournaments, which are single sport, and I think the Olympic bodies need to basically think about that.
Shashi, not everyone follow all kind of events. Like there are people who do not follow football, then there are people who do not follow cricket, and then there are people who might not follow Olympics. I think a lot of people were there still,
Yeah,
representing
so
their
what I
countries.
mean
But
to
this,
say is like for example, when the Football World Cup is scheduled, or the Cricket World Cup is scheduled, or even like every year we have Wimbledon in the UK, uh, people book their tickets in advance. It's like an event. People look forward to it. I've never heard of many people say that, oh, the Olympics are coming up, unless they're being hosted in your own country. I remember them being hosted in London, when and there was a hoo-ha, but even that was because it was being hosted there. It was kind of a carnival. But apart from that, I don't see much excitement in regards to the actual event compared to other sports events.
I guess that yes, that does make sense. But I think it's more to do with how complete. I think because there are so many things going on in the Olympics, not everyone can follow up with that. I mean, football World
Or
Cup is just
maybe
football,
people
and
don't
cricket.
to watch, or maybe people don't want to watch somebody trying to, like, some of the sports in that are like really boring to watch. If you think about it, why would somebody want to see somebody chucking uh, like a
Sticks.
rod, like a javelin? Why do I want to see somebody throwing a javelin? Think about it. I know we're both from Pakistani origin, and at the end of the day, like there's been a new world record. But I mean, there's only so much of javelin throwing you can watch. You get my point? Or why would I want to
It's not a
watch
very
something?
exciting sport.
It's not like a cricket match or a football match or a tennis match. I mean, what are you going?
I agree. I agree.
I
That is one thing.
But again,
Yeah. So
from that as well, something which is like really, I think it's part of this event, and I think we should bring it. So Arshad Nadeem, the Pakistani gold medalist, who basically won out of the blue. What I've noticed after he's won, somehow he's been politicized. There are people creating memes indirectly. There are religious connotations being attached to it. And it seems like, at least as far as Pakistani people are concerned, because like I see how United Kingdom won a lot of medals. US won huge number of medals. The Chinese and the Netherlands and the Australians and the Japanese as well. But that meme culture for somebody winning a gold and just celebrating is not prevalent in Pakistanis. They could have
a lot of these,
just
a
simply
lot of these Olympic
celebrated.
players, a lot of these Olympic players actually end up selling their medals. There is this other boxing champion of Pakistan. He shifted to Japan because Japan was ready to hire him, and that's he first sold his. Initially, he sold his medal in scrap, and then he moved out to Japan to start his life because we don't care. We just care until they win, and then we're like, um, we
And
just
then,
don't care about them anymore.
yeah, and even after they win, somebody wants to claim that he's
Take
from
the
Mysore.
credit.
Yeah,
Take
the
the
politicians are basically saying that we made him win. There's all kinds of people, and then there are sarcastic people who are just trolling, and it's just like you would think that Pakistan is a country uh, which these days, at least, rarely has something to celebrate, and they would just purely celebrate rather than trying to get claims, being sarcastic, making fun of him, trying to associate him to various religious memes, trying to associate him to political parties, trying to take a dig at one another. It's a shame, really, because other countries, when you, I think Arshad Nadeem was more sportingly, purely celebrated in India than he was in Pakistan. They did not make fun of him or his or fun associated to him, even though the Indian player, what was his name? Neeraj something. I've
Neeraj,
forgotten
Neeraj,
his
Neeraj,
surname.
Neeraj, Neeraj.
Yeah,
I don't know his surname.
that
His
first
surname
name
is
is
Neeraj.
right. Yeah. So it seems like he's the only person who can actually take some credit for what Arshad Nadeem has achieved, and him and his family have been extremely humble. But compare that to every other Pakistani who either wants to get some likes by mentioning him or some political votes in regards to that. It's really a shame, in my opinion. But congratulations to Arshad Nadeem, I guess.
Yeah. So it was a gold medal by Pakistan, like 2 years. Yeah. So moving on from Arshad Nadeem, it's the last controversies, not the last, second last. Where it is that you know that they mixed up the names of South Korea and North Korea. So when North Korea was coming out, they called them South Korea was coming out, they called them the North Korea. It was a real mess up. Then they had to apologize. I don't know. You prepared for such a long time. You can get names right. Seriously, that's just lazy.
Mm, there's not much to add on that. It's just,
Yeah.
I
So
guess.
the next thing is the performance of Gojira. It's a metal band, heavy metal band in France, and they performed this song. It's called Es Sayer. Excuse my French, I mean, but it's called Es Sayer. Es Sayer means it's fine, it's fine, it's fine. And the aristocrats to the lamppost. What it means is that we will hang the aristocrat from the lamppost. They initially got this the essay say from Benjamin Franklin. This is a alleged story that Benjamin Franklin went to France and they asked him what was happening in what was he expecting out of the USA. He's a foreign minister back then, and he said this word essay. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. So a local soldier turned it into a song, and then it became a revolutionary song, right? So this is the performance. Now the controversy is that I'm not going to say it first. Let's just watch the performance and then I'll tell you. This is it. So this is the performance by Gujira. A lot of people, we've all seen how all our life heavy metal and rock music have been connected with Satanism. So according to a lot of people, this was some kind of a satanic ritual. And because, it was red. And let me tell you something, the woman in the start who was holding her head, that is Marie Antoinette, that French queen who was guillotined, had her head chopped off, in the revolution. So it was actually portraying that because, of course, the song was about revolution, and they had to portray that, of course. But a lot of people started saying later on they started throwing red, cloth from the windows, and a lot of people are saying that this was a satanic ritual, and people like Andrew Tate and Donald Trump had a lot to say about it and how everything is moving toward. I mean, all those people who had no idea what they were portraying just came up with their own stuff without getting educated about it. Personally, being a heavy metal fan, I loved it. It was amazing. I think this was one thing in the ceremony that I actually loved. You know, it's really even though I don't exactly understand what they're saying, I had to Google the translation, but I genuinely loved the performance. It was amazing.
I think again, whenever there's a mega event in a mega city like Paris, and like there was one in London with history and everything, there are people who make conspiracy theories. I remember at the London Olympics, there were huge amounts of conspiracy theorists basically making that statement that the Illuminati is going to do this, that, and the other, and nothing actually happened. And same applies to this. I don't really think that the Illuminati is going to achieve anything out of a song performance, even if Illuminati was to exist. What has the Satan decided to do? Entertain people. I mean, wow. What is he achieving out of that? It makes no sense to me. But there we go. So this
Yeah,
can
but
be a controversy. Look, I'm from the Illuminati now. Look.
Oh my God, Sanjay. I can later on use stuff, I guess.
Yeah,
But,
this is going to be used against me one day. Even though I'm just
Is it-
taking the piss and I'm being open about it.
Yeah, so this is what's been happening on in the Paris Olympics. I don't know, Shah, did we miss out on something? I think we left something out. I don't remember, but I guess this is a whole list of controversies that happened in Paris. I don't know. Honestly speaking, I haven't really exactly followed any Olympics, so I wouldn't know if this is like that common. You know, so many mistakes, and so many apologies. So, but here we are. At the end of the day, it was not that bad. It was amazing. It was good. Pakistani won a gold medal. Imani Khalifi also won, even though there were controversies.
United
And I guess
Kingdom
Paris.
did as well. GBR did really well above their weight, and again, that's something.
I think it did kind of help Paris because they got their river clean and they got a lot more visitors than usual. Because of course a lot of people were there, and Lady Gaga's performance was really nice. I was surprised. The woman is not French, but she was singing a French song, and it was really good. Honestly, even though I'm saying the song was not something I would say was my favorite, but I was just impressed that she did it really well. You could not say that she is not a French. And then I personally, how it was portrayed, the whole pink feather thing and everything, I think it was really nice, honestly. And there were different ballet dancers all over the place in different buildings. And that was a really nice thing as well, I guess. And there was Snoop Dogg. Of course, how can we forget Snoop Dogg? He had this torch at one point, and a lot of people made memes about it. They handed him, weed.
So I guess the LA Olympics is going to be really, really cool because I've heard the opening ceremony is going to involve Snoop Dogg. Let's see if that happens. 4 years to go.
I think next Olympics is in Italy.
No, in LA.
It's in
LA.
2026 is in Italy. 2026 is in Italy.
That's Winter Olympics. I'm talking about the Summer Games. That's 2028.
Right. It's in LA. Well, I guess we'll see then. We come to discuss about it again. Thank you for listening, everyone. Thank you for bearing with us. Now we have all the
Before we go, I want to mention something. Today was like a trial thing. I know we were not very smooth. We're trying to basically sort out our technical issues, and hopefully next time we'll get there. So I apologize for that. Carry you.
I think it went very smooth, honestly. I
No,
loved
the
the session. It was
the transitions and the backgrounds, we're still working on.
yeah.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, it was still fun. Anyway, thank you for listening, everyone. Thank you for coming. Subscribe the channel, share with your friends, and leave, click on the like button, press the bell button so that you regularly get a notification whenever we're live, and we'll come back with more interesting topics from time to time. And stay with us. And have a good evening, good day, or good afternoon, wherever you are. I'm gonna go. We're gonna go. Bye bye. Good night. Have a nice day.